In today's video, I want to show you how you can build your own six-figure content creation agency. But I'll also give you some of the sauce that allowed me to scale my own content agency up to 7 figures. And of course, this hasn't just worked for me, this has worked for literally hundreds of other people that I can show you throughout the video. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Prior to contrary belief, you don't need experience in content creation, in photography or videography, and you actually never have to visit your clients. You never have to create content for them. In fact, if I take a look at the 355 clients that I've worked with inside of my agency, not one of them did I visit their premises or did I go to actually shoot content for them. All of our content was created from graphic designers and video editors that virtually did absolutely everything. Elephant in the room number 2 is that this can be scalable and wildly profitable. Look, there's a lot of people here, especially on YouTube, that will say that a paid ads agency, lead gen agency, or a SaaS agency is the way to go. And a lot of them will talk very negatively about a content agency. Either they tried it and just really didn't do very well with it, or they think it doesn't work. From building my content agency to 7 figures, which means it's brought in over $1 million in revenue, we did it with very, very good margins. I'm talking 60, 70, sometimes 80%. And before I sold my half of my agency to my business partner, there was a full year where I pretty much worked 30 minutes a day. Literally, my job every day was to check in Slack, check in with our team, make sure everything was good. So my own agency that I started as a content creation and social media management agency. Our first client paid $1,200 a month, and we would create content for their Instagram and then post it to their Instagram. We'd also post stories, we'd also reply to comments and DMs. So everything to do with their Instagram was handled by us. As we scaled into the multi-6-figure range, we started to transition to purely content and consulting. So instead of a client paying us $1,200 per month, they might only pay us $500 per month, or sometimes around $900 per month, where we would now just create content and then teach them how to post it, when to post it, and how to manage their own Instagram page or their TikTok or whatever platform they're using. So what you're going to learn in this video is going to work for you whether you want to get paid for content and consulting, or you're happy to get paid for content creation and then actually putting that content on the social media page through social media management. All right, phase 1, signing clients. The very first client that I signed for my agency came from cold outreach, meaning we found them online, specifically on Instagram, and we messaged them. Now, something very beautiful happened when we signed that first client because it was 3 business partners involved. One of those business partners referred us to another business that they were a part of literally like 2 days later. So we went from 0 to 1 client, and then 2 days later, we had a second client. And that same business partner also had her own personal brand. So one client actually brought us 3 clients. So that literally put us at about $3,000 per month from one client. Now, 45 days after we signed client number 1, we actually got past 10K per month. And nearly all of those other clients came from cold outreach, mainly through Instagram. So if somebody is telling you that cold outreach doesn't work, it does, but of course there's a wrong way and a right way to do it. And when I zoom out and I look at the bigger picture and I look at all 355 clients that we worked with, at least 70 to 80% came from cold outreach. That's Instagram, that's cold email, and that was LinkedIn. The other 20-30% came from referrals, a couple of inbound, and we tried some other things throughout the years. So the question then is, why does cold outreach work so well for a content agency? It really comes down to the fact that what you're offering is not a, hey, I'll guarantee to get you X in 30 days through your content type of offer. You see, there's a lot of people trying to do those offers when they just don't have the results and proof to do it. So what we rather do with any beginner we work with inside of our mentorship is literally get you to not do that. Instead, we want you to just be more direct, message the business owners that don't either have the expertise or time to create content, because trust me, there are literally thousands of them out there, and you're selling your service that way. You're not focused on trying to get this pitch perfect, no-brainer Alex Hormozi offer, because if you're just a beginner, chances are you can't do that. If you're a beginner, you can't guarantee 10K a month through social media and through content if you've never done that. And it's why students of ours are getting really good results, even though many of them don't have some crazy offer, is that they know how to do outreach the right way, and they know how to position content itself as a valuable thing. You see, if I'm going to create content for a business, it's going to be for the business owner that either doesn't have the time or the know-how to do it. Because in his eyes, if he wants to do social media but doesn't have the time, then me creating it for him is valuable. If he does have the time but he doesn't know how to do it and he doesn't want to learn video editing, or he doesn't want to learn graphic design, then me creating it for him is valuable. So that is where you're going to get your clients, and that's how you're going to pitch your offer. Phase 2 is creating the content. So So you have two routes here. You can go and learn all the skills that you need to create content, edit content, and create it in a really good way for social media for your clients, or you can hire other people to do it. You see, I took route number 2. So I decided I'm not going to create the content myself. I'll focus on getting clients, I'll focus on communicating with clients, and then I'll have other team members actually create the stuff. Now here's the thing, when I started that back in 2019, we didn't have access to the same tools that you have access to today. So you have access to things like Canva Premium, which is like probably the easiest way to create graphics and videos, and it costs like $10 a month. You have access to CapCut and the Captions app. You know, these are amazing tools, again, either free or they have a paid plan for around $10 a month, which will do subtitles, auto edit your videos for you. Like, they literally do 90% of the work. So if you do decide that you want to do it yourself today, using AI and using these tools will allow you to create content in very, very little time. For an example, if I was to work with a fitness coach today, and he had a podcast or he created some long form YouTube content, 10-minute videos of him doing a workout. I know I could literally take his exact videos, put them into a platform like Opus Clips and get back videos with subtitles and already edited, and they'd be like 90% ready for social media. I would then probably have to spend 10 minutes doing some extra cuts, adding some extra animation and sound effects, and then they'd be good to go. Now, the big question on pretty much anybody's mind when they hear about building a content agency is, Adam, do I have to visit my clients? Do I have to film them? Do they have to send me their products and then I'll have to take, user-generated content myself? No, you don't have to. Of course, if you'd like to do that and you think it's going to add a tremendous amount of value, then of course, go and do it. As mentioned, all 355 of my clients did not send me products, and I didn't go and visit their business. If we were working with a fitness coach, we would look at, do they have a podcast? Do they have YouTube clips? Do they just have hundreds of videos on their iPhone of their day-to-day life? Them training in the gym, them eating? Yes. Nearly every person that we would work with would have something. If they just have a bunch of clips of them living their life, fantastic. We can use that. We can create viral videos with that. We could put 20 clips together, find a trending sound, and put valuable fitness tips on the screen in text. You see, you just have to be creative with how you're going to create the content. Phase 3 is dialing in your value proposition. We've touched on this in phase 1 with getting clients. And I've pretty much told you to keep your offer simple. Don't try and put together this like 7-step, 10-part process of how you're going to blow up their social media or their business through content. Let's keep it super fucking simple. The business owner you are going to help is the business owner that doesn't have the time or the know-how to do this themselves. They don't care for a guarantee. They don't care for make me 10K in the next 30 days or your service doesn't work. They understand social media is something they need to do. They understand content is the way that you get viral, it's the way that you get views, and it's the way you get customers through social media. You're going to sell to them. Look, there's a statistic I found online, 51 years old. That is the average age of most business owners. Those 51-year-olds don't know how to post an Instagram story. They don't know how to use CapCut and ChatGPT and Opus Clips to make content. You do. You see, for you to sell to somebody else, you just have to know a little bit more than them. And there's this limiting belief, and I see it so much, so prevalent here on YouTube, where people have tried a content agency, or maybe they failed with it, or they just think the whole thing is a bad idea. And it's because they're trying to create an Alex Hormozi no-brainer offer. Of course, you can create those offers, and you can use those, and they do work. But when I look at all of the clients we worked with, I can say with a lot of certainty that about 80% of those clients paid us because they either didn't want to do it themselves or they didn't know how to, for convenience, for saving time, for saving effort. And you see, those are the clients that were the best clients. Because if you're paying me for me to create content for you and post it to your socials, and you're not that focused on the sales side, you know that that's important, but that's up to you, well, then you are probably going to stay with me longer if we're not going viral every month. Whereas if you're coming to me saying, hey Adam, you told me you're going to guarantee me to get 10K followers on social media in 3 months with your content agency, well then, yeah, if I don't get you 10K followers in 3 months, you're going to leave. Or worse, you're going to want your money back. So your value proposition is simple. And it's going to expand over time. It's going to get better, because once you get results, once you have a client hit their first 10K followers, or you have a video for a client get 1 million views, that is when you will start to tack that on to your offer, so to build out the value. But phase 3 with your value proposition is really about you understanding where the business owner is at, making sure they understand the value of social media and content, and positioning your offer as the solution. Like, don't overcomplicate it. It is that simple. If my agency made 1 million with that value proposition, we're keeping it super fucking simple, you can too. Phase 4 is scaling. You see, most people that start a content agency create content themselves, and they fall into the freelancer trap. It's very, very common. So the freelancer trap is defined as follows. You start a business because you want freedom. You sign 5 clients, you get to 3, 4, 5k per month, but you're working 50 hours a week. So you've done the maths and you know that if you get to 10k a month, you're gonna have to work 70, 80, maybe 100 hours a week. That's not what you signed up for. You see, that is happening because you are working all the time. You're doing all the work. So for most people, when they get to that point, they have to make a hard decision, which is hiring people, hiring editors, hiring graphic designers, hiring people to do the hard work, the bulk of the work. But it's a very necessary phase that you must go through. Now, of course, you can start your agency from zero and hire immediately. So you could avoid this problem completely. That's what I did. I just want you to know right now that there's 2 routes. But for this phase number 4, scaling, getting to the 6-figure a year mark, eventually getting to multi 6 figures, potentially hitting 7 figures, you need to have a team, or you just need to be able to work 100 hours a week. I'm going to give you a breakdown of a content agency that's pushing multiple 6 figures a year at scale. You're most likely going to have multiple editors and multiple graphic designers. Your business relies on them, and without them, no work gets done. But for them to be able to get the work done, to edit videos, to create content, to deliver it to clients, either you or someone we call a client manager is going to be the person that steps in. That is a person that you are literally going to pay. You're going to pay them a full-time wage for them to communicate between your clients and your team. This is exactly how I had that full year in my agency where I worked 30 minutes a day and made a lot of money for not doing much. Phase 5 of this journey is understanding how you make this profitable. You see, that's a concern with many that start a content agency. They think it's not going to work at scale. They think they'll only make 20-30% profit margin. It's not true. Here's just a really basic example. See, when I was starting with my agency, I knew we wanted to scale. I knew we wanted to do multi 6 figures a year. So I thought, what's the best way for me to keep profit margins high while scaling? Well, it's to make sure that I'm paying my team per piece of content. So if I'm getting paid $500 a month from a client for 10 pieces of content, that's $50 per piece. And then I pay my editor $5 or $10 per piece. I have a very, very good handle on the margin, because if my editor needs to spend more time on client 1 versus client number 2, he's still going to get paid the same amount. Getting paid for the work. This might sound very simple, but a lot of people hire people, specifically editors and designers, on hourly or monthly retainers. By paying a set fee, you're pretty much guaranteeing your ability to tweak the numbers. So you do the maths, right? If you're paying your editor $10 a piece and you're getting paid $50 a piece, well, you've got 80% margin. So now if your goal profit margin is 70%, you know you've got an extra 10% that you can divide up for other roles in the business, whether that's for a virtual assistant or a client manager or somebody else. And so there's going to be times where you need to change your pricing to fit this. You might have to increase your prices, go from 50 a piece to 55 or 60, or negotiate a bulk discount with your editor or your designer to slightly lower your cost. And this is where most people get caught. And I too had times in my agency where our profit margins dipped. And again, what did we do? We either had to increase prices or change our packages or negotiate with our team. Look, friend, we've covered quite a lot here in the last 15 minutes. And I feel like there's still a lot we're yet to uncover. I think we could probably make a part 2 of this. If you think that would be valuable, just let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed this so far and you'd like to work one-to-one with me, I've helped 103 people make between $5,000 to $30,000 per month with their own content creation agencies, social media management agencies, email marketing agencies, pretty much every type of agency. But probably 70 to 80% of our students have specifically started and scaled content and social media agencies. So if you'd like to learn from someone that did it themselves and then sold their agency and has successfully taught this and mentored over 100 people to do it, then yeah, link is in the description of this video if you'd like to learn a little bit more about working with me, and I hope you enjoyed.